What, the jokes?
Yeah, well, it is.
I tell you what I think they love too. They love winning premierships, and they did that yesterday, and they did it in style. As we take a look, it was a tremendous performance. Just relentless, weren't they? I think probably the key was the tackling. They just never gave Essendon an inch.
Well, it's quite interesting too, and a lot of those Essendon players really didn't want the ball at critical times, and they really couldn't handle the ball. It was pretty hot, and fellows that are usually very sure ball handlers were fumbling yesterday.
An interesting point made on that tackling. I think the Collingwood, and I'd like to know from Lee whether they paid any attention to their ability when they were tackled. The Collingwood players kept their arms free so as they could dispose the ball with a handball. If you watch carefully, it happens on numerous occasions, particularly Big Monkhurst.
Well, luckily we've got the participants on. We can ask them ourselves, but I know as Timmy Watson said, they lacked spark. Now, why would you lack spark?
In a grand final? That's why I say it's a mind thing, Ron. And you know, it's just like Kerrison got the first kick. He started on Ezard and he came straight through the centre. And I think it's always an indication in the first couple of minutes of a grand final as to the team's attitude. And Collingwood really did want to win.
There's no doubt that Collingwood was a far more hungry side, and so they should be. They've been down for so many years and no premiership. They had so much to gain. They put themselves down in history, don't they?
Can you say
what turns their mind off, Scotty? What turns their mind off?
Well, I don't know. It's a small thing, Ron, Bob. I mean, I was a little bit sceptical of Essendon's build-up to the grand final, whether it was just highlighted, but in the press on Friday at the press conference, the way they were, you know, Kevin Sheedy and Tim Watson were maybe a little light-hearted, yes, whereas you had the contrast of Lee Matthews, who was very serious. Maybe, you know, that might have had a bit of...
They got away to a fair start, Essendon. You're saying that Collingwood went out there and from the word go, they looked like winners. I mean, Salmon looked like taking over the game in the first 5 or 10 minutes.
But Kel, they only went into the forward line on, what, 2 occasions, 3 occasions, and Salmon capitalised.
But that's in hindsight. I mean, at the time you would say, boy, he's going to take over.
You know, for the amount of time that Collingwood had the ball early, they just did not capitalise up forward.
They had plenty of shots, didn't they?
Oh, my word, and they had plenty of use of the ball. Wasn't it? My word, it was.
What about the fight at quarter time? I mean, what happened afterwards? The Collingwood kicked 5 goals in 10 minutes.
Well, I think it's got to be said. I'm glad not much has been said about it in the print media. Maybe we're going to talk about it now, but it's not a good advertisement for 8 million Australians, some of whom are unconvinced that this is the great game in the world and that their kids should play it. To see that, let alone the 80 million overseas, I must think we're just a bunch of whackers when officials get involved. So I'm sure there'll be repercussions on this.
And not only that, Ron, every grand final has been played around Victoria has had a record number of offences on the players. There are fines, the Ovens and Murray, Geelong and District Warrnambool, all those have all copied it.
Is it anything new?
Well, it is.
It's not new.
It
has gone on since the mid-70s.
Is it right?
Ron,
Well, is it right?
It is not right, Ron, and you're involved too.
And what's going to happen...
You're an instigator.
What's going to happen is that questions will be asked, how do you penalise the player and the team on the spot? Because
especially in the grand final.
At the moment, in the grand final, a guy who's going to retire, he could just do mayhem. And someone says, shut up.
And that might be the answer.
OK, it's a very interesting topic. We've got lots of special guests to talk